it's Alice, and I am here today to react to the YA Book Prize 2024 shortlist. So Sean has cleverly loaded up all of the covers on the tablet, and he's looking very stressed about it all, but I think it's okay. And so he's going to turn around each cover so that I can react to what's on the shortlist and give you my opinions on what I know about it. And we're going to read out the blurbs as well so that you can learn a little bit more about the books in case you're interested in reading them. I did do a predictions video yesterday, so if you are interested in comparing the shortlist to my predictions to see how many I got, because the likelihood is I'm not going to remember what was on my shortlist or not, so we're not going to know how well I've done until after we finish filming this and we double check that. So without further ado, Sean, would you like to reveal book number 1? Okay, so first up we have Every Exquisite Thing by Laura Stephen. This was on my predictions list because Laura Stephen was shortlisted last year with the Society for Soulless Girls, and this book has been pushed a bit more. This has been a locked library pick. I know this one is like a retelling of The Picture of Dorian Gray, but for the TikTok generation, I think is how it's being promoted. I own it. I haven't read it yet, but I'm glad that it's up because at least it's a book that's on my shelf that I can tick off. So I'll just get the blurb up for this one and we'll see what it's actually about.
I love you.
Is it going okay so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can remember your predictions because I edited it yesterday.
You can remember them. I can't. My brain's tiny. I swapped lots of books in and out.
I know, right? That was the main thing, trying to find the book covers for the ones that are in and out.
Okay. Penny Paxton is the daughter of an icon. Her supermother. This is going well. Her supermodel mother has legions of adoring fans around the world, and Penny is ready to begin her journey to international adoration, starting with joining the elite Dorian Drama School. When Penny's new mentor offers her an opportunity she cannot refuse, to have a portrait painted by a mysterious artist who can grant immortal beauty to all his subjects, Penny happily follows in the footsteps of Dorian's most glittering alumni, knowing that stardom is sure to soon be hers. But when her trusted mentor is found murdered, Penny realises she's made a terrible mistake. A sinister someone is using the uncanny portraits to kill off the subjects one by one. As more perfectly beautiful students start to fall, Penny knows her time is running out. Okay, that sounds really interesting. It sounds very much like a close retelling to A Picture of Dorian Gray, which I read many years ago and don't remember all that much about. But that's book number 1 on the shortlist. Are we ready to move on to book number 2?
Yeah, come on.
And book number 2 is Yours for the Tower by Sally Nichols. Oh my god! Okay, so I put this one in last minute because the YA Book Prize did some colour swatches that matched up with the covers that for the books that they were putting on the shortlist. And I thought the forest green looked kind of similar to some of the details on this one. And it is on here. So that's really exciting. I haven't read this. I don't own it. I hadn't even heard of it until I was researching for my shortlist predictions. So this one has come out of left field a little bit, but it's exciting. And Sally Nichols has been shortlisted before, and I've read a couple of her books and really loved them. So I'm hoping that this one's going to be a winner for me. And the blurb for this one is: Tirzah, Sophia and Polly are best friends who've left boarding school and gone back to very different lives. The year is 1896 and Polly is teaching in an orphanage. Sophia is scouting for a rich husband at the London season, and Tirzah is acting as an unpaid companion to her grandmother. In a series of letters buzzing with atmosphere and drama, the friends air their dreams, hopes, frustrations and romances. Can this trio of very different young women, one industrious, one artful and one in exile, find happiness and love in the dawn of the Edwardian era? So this sounds really, really interesting to me. I love epistolary novels. I love anything that's kind of told in letters, and books about friendship are always really fun as well. So I think this is going to be a super quick read. I just don't have any idea how long it is because I've never seen it physically. So that one's a little bit intimidating. Book number 3. This Book Kills by Ravina Garon. That's annoying. I had this on my shortlist and I took it off because I didn't think the colour matched with anything. And now it's here. So that's startling. I don't know what it's going to have replaced. But this one sounds really, really good. This is a murder mystery.
Just quickly, when I was editing, I was like, oh my gosh, it's totally this one, because I saw the colours on the swatches. And on the screen, I was like, yes, this is definitely...
Did it look identical?
It was identical to the
that's
blue.
so fucking annoying. On my phone, it looked like it was like a few shades darker.
Yeah.
Ah! That's so annoying. But I had that mentioned at least.
Yeah.
Right. So the blurb for this book kills is, I'll make it clear from the start. I did not kill Hugh Henry Van Boren. I didn't even help. Well, not intentionally. When Hugh Henry Van Boren, one of the most popular and richest kids in Jess Chowdhury's school, is found dead, the student body is left reeling and wondering who the murderer could be. Jess, a student under strict instructions to keep her record clean or risk losing her scholarship, finds herself at the centre of the investigation when it's revealed that Hugh died in the exact same way as a character in a short story she wrote. And then Jess receives an anonymous text thanking her for the inspiration. With time running out, Jess knows if she doesn't solve this mystery, she'll finally have something in common with Hugh Henry. She'll be dead too. I am actually really glad that this one's on here because I really wanted to read it, and I was thinking, well, even if that's not on the shortlist, I'm going to have to get hold of it because that sounds amazing. I love books about books. I love this idea of the short story being the inspiration behind the murderer. I think that that's going to be one heck of a roller coaster, and I'm super pumped for this one. Book number 4. How To Die Famous by Benjamin Dean. Now that's surprising because I thought This Book Kills and How To Die Famous would kind of be replacing each other if either of them was going to be up. But I did have this on my shortlist. I'm pretty sure I left it in, so that's good. I'm on 3 out of 4 at the moment, but technically 4 out of 4 because I did mention This Book Kills as well, so I can kind of take the credit for that one. What?
3.5.
3.5, yeah. That's a good idea. 3.5. So, from what I can remember, This Book Kills is about a boy who is an actor on a TV show and his brother works in the cast and he ends up being... Oh, no, not in the cast, in the crew, sorry. And he ends up being found dead and he's trying to solve his murder. So, I'll look up the blurb for this one and we will check that that's actually right.
Doing really well for your predictions.
I am. The clues helped. Without the clues, I would have been a bit screwed because I've never even heard of the Tower one. But I did have 2 out of the 3 on my list before any of the clues came out, so that feels good. Okay, so the blurb for How to Die Famous. Rising star Abel Miller just landed a role in one of the hottest reboots on the Omni channel, Sunset High. It looks like he'll be yet another budding celebrity plucked from obscurity, but he has a problem. His brother Adam, a production associate, died during the filming of the last attempt at Sunset High, and no one knows how or why. Abel is going to find out, but when he meets the other stars of the show, Lucky, Ryan, Ella, and creator Lake Carter, he realises there's darkness beneath the shimmer of fame. They all have secrets, and one of them is willing to kill to keep it that way. It definitely sounds really, really interesting. I can't remember the last time we had a couple of mysteries on the shortlist, so it's nice because mysteries are always ones that we can read a little bit faster. So that's exciting. And I wanted Benjamin Dean to be shortlisted a couple of years ago and his book wasn't chosen, so it's nice to finally see him represented on here. Book number 5. This Is How You Fall in Love by, is it Annika Hussein?
I think that's how it's pronounced.
We think that's how it's pronounced. I also had this on my list. Okay, so 4 out of 5. That's exciting. I don't really remember much about this one. I just remember being quite taken by the cover and something about it sounded there was like a fake dating, swoon-worthy, funny prompt. And this sounded like it was going to match with that. So that's why I chose this one. Oh my God. This is amazing. I feel so good. What's the title exactly?
This Is How You Fall
This
in
is how you. Thank
Fall
you.
in Love.
It just wasn't coming up, and I think I had it the wrong way around. Perfect. So the blurb for this one is: Zara and Adnan are just friends. Always have been, always will be, even if they have to pretend to be girlfriend and boyfriend. Zara loves love in all forms, 90s rom-coms and romance novels and grand, sweeping gestures. And she's desperate to have her own great love story, crucially, a real one. So when her best friend Adnan begs her to pretend to date him to cover up his new top secret relationship, Zara is hesitant. This isn't the kind of thing she had in mind, but there's something in it for Zara too. Making her parents, who love Adnan, happy might just stop them arguing for a while. She may not be getting her own love story, but she could save theirs. So Zara agrees and the act begins. After all, how different can pretending to be in a relationship with your best friend be to just hanging around with them like usual? Turns out, a lot. With fake dating comes fake hand-holding and fake kissing and real feelings. And when a new boy turns up in Zara's life, things get more confusing than ever. The course of true love never did run smooth, but Zara's love story is messier than most. So this sounds like a really fun one. I like the fact that it's like fake dating, but then the real feelings, but then there's like a kind of love triangle going on as well. It sounds like it's going to be really action-packed and like very dramatic. But it also sounds like it's going to be quite a cute one, especially based off of the cover. So we are over halfway through now. Let's go on to book number 6. Girl Goddess Queen by B. Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald? I always want to say Fitzpatrick, and I have no idea why. So this was also on my shortlist. I think that the very kind of hot pink that they use on the swatches really gave this one away. But it also sounds like it's going to be a really fun retelling of Hades and Persephone, and it's quite empowering, quite feminist from what I can gather. Again, not one that I've read yet, but one that I've been hearing great things about since it was announced. And the blurb for this one is: thousands of years ago, the gods told a lie. How Persephone was a pawn in the politics of other gods. How Hades kidnapped Persephone to be his bride. How her mother Demeter was so distraught she caused the earth to start dying. The real story is much more interesting. Persephone wasn't taken to hell, she jumped. There was no way she was going to be married off to some smug god more in love with himself than her. Now all she has to do is convince the underworld's annoyingly sexy, arrogant, and frankly rude ruler, Hades, to fall in line with her plan. A plan that will shake Mount Olympus to its very core. But consequences can be deadly, especially when you're already in hell. It definitely sounds fun. Like, I think it's going to be quite a fierce book. And one that I'm really actually quite excited about, which I wasn't expecting to be. It looks quite chunky from what I've seen, so I'm a little bit scared of this one. But we'll get through it one way or another, even if it takes us from today until the day the prize is announced. Book number 7. What's happening? Okay, Murder on a School Night by Kate Weston. And I also had this up, but that means we've got 3 mystery thrillers, and I kind of thought we were going to get maybe 2. And I'm concerned about what's come out of my shortlist to be able to replace, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. This is really not going how I was expecting it to. This one also sounds quite funny. It sounds like it's going to be quite a comedic thriller. And I know those are really popular for like adult crime thriller books at the moment. So I'm surprised that I hadn't heard about this one. But I will admit I only heard about this one because when they put the colour swatches up, someone commented on the Way Book Prizes page and said, looks like Murder on a School Night. And I thought, I haven't even heard of it, but I'll look it up. And it sounded like it fitted with one of the prompts as well, so I put it in. I'm glad I did now. But also concerned about what's come out. But let me get the blurb up for you. The fear. I can feel the fear coming into my eyes as we get closer to the end of this list. Because my 2 favourites, or like my front runner and my second favourite, are not even on the shortlist yet, and I'm scared. It's not going to happen, is it? Oh, no. Right. Murder on a School Night by Kate Weston. There's never a good time to find a dead body, sure. But what about finding a dead body while you're trying to kiss your crush? Kerry had different plans for her first high school party, like not going. All she wanted to do was stay home in the safety of retro rom-coms and her strict retainer schedule. Instead, her BFF, fiercely outgoing mystery fanatic Annie, has roped her into going to the party to investigate who's cyberbullying Heather, the most popular girl in school. Finding herself getting close with her dreamy crush is odd enough, but when the two of them discover Heather's second-in-command, Selena, suffocated with a menstrual cup, things get really weird. And when a second student turns up dead, this time with a sanitary pad across the eyes, Annie and Kerry, no matter how much she resists, are officially on the case to stop the menstrual murderer. Period. This sounds like the wackiest thing in the entire world. I think I might have read a slightly different blurb before, so I'm not sure if that might be the US blurb compared to the UK blurb, but my god, I remember seeing something about somebody being like suffocated with a moon cup, but I don't remember there also being like a sanitary pad involved, and dubious about how much I'm going to enjoy it, but also completely here for it because it just sounds wild as hell. And there is normally a YA Book Prize book pick that is just so wild that you wouldn't expect it to be on there. I think that one's taking the prize for that this year. Book number 8? Happy Head by Josh Silver? Yeah? Okay. This I was expecting to be on there. There aren't many bright yellow books, and I'd kind of put this down as the green. So now I'm concerned because, again, I could be losing my picks as this goes on. But it's fine. This has been described as the YA debut of 2023. There is a sequel to the book called, I think, Dead Happy, which has only just been released as well. But because it's shortlisted for the YA Book Prize, it means it does work as a standalone. So it'll be interesting to see how it sets up for the second book, if it's still quite self-contained. Let me get the blurb up. We'll find out what it's about. I'm so happy that they gave prompts this year, like hints. Right. So the blurb for Happy Head is, we are in an epidemic of unhappiness. Friends, here is the good news. Happy Head has the answer. When Seb is offered a place on a radical retreat designed to solve the national crisis of teenage unhappiness, he is determined to change how people see him and make his parents proud. But as he finds himself drawn to the enigmatic Finn, Seb starts to question the true nature of the challenges they must undergo. The deeper into the programme the boys get, the more disturbing the assessments become, until it's clear there may be no escape. So this sounds like a dystopian, definitely one of the more intriguing titles on the list for me. One that I don't think I would have picked up myself if it hadn't been shortlisted, just because the cover didn't really appeal to me and I didn't really have any idea what it was going to be about. But it'll be nice to push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit for that one. Book number 9. The First Move by Jenny Ireland. Okay, I apologise to Sean because he suggested this one and I straight up said no because I didn't think that the blurb looked as though it matched with any of the hints. I do have this one on my NetGalley, so it's convenient because I'll be able to read it easily. I should have already read it because it's on my NetGalley. That's the first one that's really shocked me. And it also means that either You Could Be So Pretty or Where the Light Goes is not shortlisted because there's only one book left, or neither of them are going to be the last book and I'm going to be distraught. So that's scary. Let me get the blurb up for this one because I really cannot remember what it's about, but it sounded good enough that I requested it on NetGalley and got a copy. So that's good. That's absolutely mad that you got that one and I was like, no. So this is The First Move. Juliet believes girls like her, girls with arthritis, don't get their own love stories. She exists at the edges of her friends' social lives, skipping parties to play online chess under a pseudonym with strangers around the world. There she isn't just the girl with crutches. Ronan is the new kid. Good-looking, smart, a bad boy plagued by guilt over what happened to his brother Kieran. Chess life is his escape. There he's not just the boy with the brother. Juliet thinks I don't know if this is a mistake or just a weird way of phrasing this. Juliet thinks Ronan thinks someone like Ronan could never be interested in someone like her, and she wouldn't want him to be anyway because he always acts like he's cooler than everyone else. Whereas Ronan thinks life is already too complicated for dating and just wants to keep his head down at school. Little do they know they've already discovered each other online and have more in common than they think. So it definitely sounds interesting. I've read a few books where it's been the people have kind of connected online and then in real life they haven't known that they're the people online. There was actually one like it on the YA Book Prize shortlist last year, so I kind of should have guessed this just based off of that similarity. But I find that it's so hard to do it well and to not make it so obvious for the reader that they're kind of banging their head against the wall. So I'm looking forward to seeing the way that this one plays out, and I'm hoping it's in the good side rather than the bad side, because I have read a few books that have featured a similar plotline that I haven't enjoyed. And the last book on the YA Book Prize shortlist.
Excited for it?
No, I'm scared. I know what it's not going to be and I'm so sad.
Open your eyes.
Fuck, I'd completely forgotten about that one. Oh my god. Okay, what? How? Okay, we'll deal with that in a second. How the fuck are Holly Bourne and Sarah Barnard both not on this shortlist? Because that is a fucking disgrace. I don't care. Holly Bourne is the queen of YA. Sarah Barnard has written the most heart-wrenching portrayal of grief that I've ever read in a YA novel, and neither of them are up. That sounds illegal. That doesn't sound right, and I'm angry. I haven't even read You Could Be So Pretty yet because I was waiting to read it because I thought it would be on the shortlist, and I was like, well, there's no point in reading it twice, and now it's not on the shortlist, so you're telling me I could have read that book a year ago? For God's sake. Okay. I got that out. I'm good now. The last book on the shortlist is Gwen and Art Are Not in Love by Lex Croucher, which I totally should have gotten because this was one of my predictions, which means I got 8 out of 10 and mentioned the 9th. So I've done really, really well. It's just made me very distraught that the 2 that I missed aren't on here because I feel as though they should be. But that's not saying that Gwen and Art Are Not in Love does not deserve to be on this shortlist. It was a Waterstones Children's Book Prize pick, I'm pretty certain. It's been very, very hyped. It's like from what I can gather, Art and Gwen are both queer, but they're fake dating so that they can carry on their relationships in private, which is something that sounds really fun. And the sequel to this one is also coming out really soon. So again, it's going to be a book that works as a standalone, even though it is a book in a series. So I'll get the blurb up for this one and we'll read that out. I am a little bit destroyed internally, especially for Where the Light Goes, because I've read that one and I did think that it was probably going to win this year because it's phenomenal. So if you are a YA reader and you're interested in reading the books on this shortlist, I would recommend reading that one even though it hasn't been shortlisted. There could be many reasons. The publisher might not have put it forward. Sarah Barlow might not have wanted to put it forward. It might have just not been a pick that appealed to the people who read the shortlist, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have merit, and I would still highly recommend that. We'll move on to Gwen and Art Are Not in Love. I'm so sad.
Do we make our own list next year?
Yes. We make our own award. I'm going to make myself like a little acrylic award just so I can send Holly Bourne something to say like, look, she's been shortlisted for the YA Book Prize so many times and she hasn't won it yet, and now she's not even being shortlisted. That's disrespectful. Holly Bourne writes such amazing YA books. The disrespect.
I think there's a cast with Holly Bourne.
Okay.
Wait, Holly Bourne? Yeah.
In what way?
Like whenever she gets nominated, it's someone that should have had a book that's been renominated, but the other book should have won.
That is fair. That is
she
fair.
can't win.
She has lost a few times to people who should have won for different books.
Yeah.
So that is interesting to think about. But what I think is a good thing is that even though you've got massively established YA authors who are writing books which are phenomenal, the fact that they're not shortlisted proves that the UK YA scene is so incredibly strong. And UK YA does not get as much respect as it should because UK publishing doesn't put in the money to the books in the same way that the US publishing industry does. So it's very hard for the books to kind of rival the American titles that get pushed upon us. So I think the fact that you've got 10 books on this shortlist and another 2 that could have easily been picked, UK YA is where it's at. So that's something to celebrate. We can be really, really proud of that. We can be really happy with that. I'm going to go on to Gwen and Art before I forget to read out the blurb. I should just make a whole video about UK YA and the fact that it should be more respected because it really should. It really should. It's so hard to get a breakout UK YA book. It doesn't happen very often. It should happen more. Let's move on. It's been hundreds of years since King Arthur's reign. His descendant Arthur, a future lord and general gadabout, has been betrothed to Gwendolen, the quick-witted, short-tempered princess of England, since birth. The only thing they can agree on is that they despise each other. They're forced to spend the summer together at Camelot in the run-up to their nuptials, and within 24 hours, Gwen has discovered Arthur kissing a boy, and Arthur has gone digging for Gwen's childhood diary and found confessions about her crush on the kingdom's only lady knight, Bridget Leclerc. Realising they might make better allies than enemies, Gwen and Art make a reluctant pact to cover for each other. And as things heat up at the annual royal tournament, Gwen is swept off her feet by her knight, and Arthur takes an interest in Gwen's royal brother. Lex Croucher's Gwen and Art Are Not in Love is chock full of sword fighting, found family, and romantic shenanigans, destined to make readers fall in love. So that's the YA Book Prize shortlist for you. I'm actually really excited about reading Gwen and Art Are Not in Love, and I'm a bit sad that my excitement for it has been overwhelmed by my distress over my lost picks. But that looks really, really beautiful. That's a good selection of books. But that does mean that Happy Head was the green. the first move was the yellow, and I thought the first move was more pink than yellow because I haven't seen the spine of it before. So that's really, really cool. It's going to be a solid list. It's going to be great to read. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am mildly distraught by the lack of Where the Light Goes, especially, but there's always another year. There's always another year. And Sarah Barnard's won before. She can't be too greedy. She's been shortlisted a couple of times and she's won before, so she's had her time. We don't have to be that angry about it. I am a little angry about it though. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Sean is waving. Why is Sean waving?
Together we got 10. No, we got 9.5.
9.5.
Oops, yeah.
9.5. Yes, because Sean did have the first move on his list and I did not. So that was on me. I should have trusted him. So a successful year. Thank you to the YA Book Prize for actually putting prompts up this year and for giving us some hints, because I've had a wonderful week looking at all of these hints and finding out what I was going to guess. Again, just really sad about Where the Light Goes, and You Could Be So Pretty, because it would have been nice to have them on here, but still 10 books and I haven't read any of them, so that is good. I'm gonna have to get a wiggle on. I'm gonna have to look on my library apps. I'm gonna have to get some ordering done. It's a good job I've been selling things through Vinted and I can spend the money I've been making. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm Alyce, that is Sean, and we are the Bumbling Blogger. If you'd like to subscribe, then please do. That would be amazing. We're going to try to put up some more YA Book Prize content this year. We've done vlogs in the past. We've done individual reviews in the past. We're going to try and do some kind of amalgamation of the two, depending on how it goes. And if you'd like to join us for more YA Book Prize content, then keep an eye out over the next few weeks and months. The winner is being announced towards the end of August. I will ask Sean to put the date in big letters up on the screen because I can't quite remember what date it is. But it's during the Edinburgh Book Fest. So you've got a couple of months to read the shortlist if you'd like to join me. And then we can talk about the books and see how we feel about it. Please like this video if you'd like to like it. And we'll see you soon with another one. Thank you for watching. Bye!